Little different. Rather than ending with an event, we're going to start with an event. If you haven't been up to Barrett Jackson, here's a few videos I took when we were up there. Good times.
Very much. Barrett Jackson has always been committed to the community for decades. We love working together with the leadership, and that is part of this whole, what we're about up here.
Celebration of Barrett Jackson. It's time to cut the great big ribbon with the great big scissors. We're going to do it right here with Craig.
All right, taking this just for Shane. Shane, if you look around, there's not a three-wheeler in the bunch. What is this business? Gotta admit, the elephant.
It doesn't matter.
What do you think? What do you think? We should get one. Let's get one. We should get one. We should totally get one. All right, we're here at Barrett Jackson, and the Illumi-Rod is here. Can't believe it. You guys might remember this from an earlier episode where we drove this when I was back home in Regina, Saskatchewan. So cool. Just love this thing. All right, just for Sean, because I know he loves this color. Sean, we gotta get to painting your Bronco. Oh, there's noise behind me. All right, Barrett Jackson, once you're done inside in all those big tents, then you come out here and see another 1,000 cars or so. It's a good time. You should come. Oh, look at that thing. Vintage mini racers. Pretty cool. All right, you gotta check out this Blazer with this conversion system. Woo! You can actually go straight indoors from the cab. How cool is that? Oh man, always wanted one. Ooh, look at that thing. Oh, maybe someday, probably never. My truck could look like this. This Make It Last Garage video is brought to you by teenagers watching them drive away in your favorite little car. And back to the Bronco. Let's get that inspiration, put it to work. All right, probably not our best use of time, but we are working on the Bronco today. We're going to pull the 6-cylinder out and get after swapping transmissions, engines, and the rest of it. That's what success looks like. Engine out, transmission out, transfer case out, beverage in a hand. This is the 6-cylinder transmission. You'll notice the transfer case and that slightly shorter intermediate piece. This was the V8 transmission that's supposed to work with the bell housing and everything, and that intermediate piece is a little bit longer. So we're going to swap, join these together, then hopefully the bell housing and everything, get it all on, and stick it back in the car. All right, so for the record, that's the new transfer case. We'll clean that up. This gear has to come off of that and go onto that one. But when we pulled this out, and I'm sure Bronco guys know this, out of this Dana 20, those 13 bearings fell out of there. So we're gonna have to figure out how to get them into there and get all this stuff back together. Video for posterity. All right, right there. That's what success looks like. We've got a transfer case. We got it all buttoned up together. Thanks to Corey Forbes. He's in town visiting. We were up late last night goofing around with this, but got her back together. Thanks, Corey. All right, so we got all that together. Going to put the shift linkage on. That's where the shifter goes. Now, this was originally a column shift. So, what's going to need to happen is we're going to have to clearance that. So, did a little research online. See the black marker there? We'll cut that out so we have access to everything. We'll make cover for it later. Cool. All right, just like that, windows in the Bronco. So we'll get the transmission and transfer case up in here and see how it looks. All right, the other thing that has to happen for a V8 swap is you need to change out your motor mounts. So this guy and this guy need to be cut off, and you'll see here that I made little marks. And if you looked really closely, I actually chiseled those in after I made the black mark. That way, once I grind and weld and stuff like that on there, hopefully those marks stay. They're just a reference for the center line, just in case I need it. Will, determination, and a little grace too, and a grinder. And presto changeo, motor mounts are gone. So next up, we'll clean up frame rails, paint a little bit underneath here, and then try to push the transfer case up in place, and then we'll work on getting the motor in. All right, plan a record. We got the jack under there, lifting up the front, engine hoist through the tunnel, and then because we're almost touching the windshield, and I have no jack stands because Shane has my jack stands, I'm balancing it on buckets while I adjust the chain. Safety first. All right, look at that. It's in there. It's pretty close. So last step, we've got to mount these back on the frame rails, one on each side, and then we can set the transmission cross-member mount thingy on top of that and bolt her all up. All right, so here we go. We got the motor in, sitting in there in a couple bolts. Motor mounts mocked up in place. Definitely glad I now know and confirm the location. That Z-bar is going to have to change. It doesn't quite line up, 6-cylinder versus V8, so that's another item for the list. And yeah, just keep marching forward. Quick recommendation, porta-power unit. When you put these in, tack the bottoms, and then you can just run your porta-power across the top to squeeze them out to get, you know, a nice tight joint up against the side of the frame. So we'll tack this up, weld her in, and get back to her. All right, here's what we've got going on today. I was cleaning up to get my dad's car into the garage, and I found my bag of clips for doing the headliner. I've had the headliner for a couple years sitting in a box, and I didn't want to buy the clips twice, so you basically what I think is we're gonna pull these out. I put this piece of tape on here to mark where the holes are. These little clips go spiky side on the metal. They sit in there, and then the cardboard headliner we'll soften it up with we'll dampen it with a little bit of water, and then it gets pushed up there into these clips, and we'll mark a few more holes and see if we can't get it up sitting in there. That's the first part of the headliner, and then there's a back piece, and then these corners. So 4-piece cardboard headliner that starts out flat and has to form some curves. Try not to break it. All right, there you have it. Laid it out here in the sun. Gonna let it warm up and let that moisture absorb in. We sprayed that on. I'm gonna say I'm slightly pissed off. You can see there, the sun really brings it out. There's a crack. It's not really that bad, but this thing's been sitting in a box for 2 years. Oh well, we're still gonna stick it up in there. We'll see how this goes. All right, believe it or not, it slipped into the clips really easily, but better is I pushed up gently, and there's a little bit of a lip across here, and it just kind of popped in and held in there so I could get the center screw in. And now you see why I marked these, because the screw is actually up here behind this hole. So all that, now we'll know where to put the screws in. So just using an awl, we'll feel around through the holes until we can find a hole close to put the screw backs in. I can admit it's a little bit of a wrestling match, but not really that bad. Just make sure to get it really damp. Make sure the curve forms on the back of it, not on that little tip, because the little tip actually has to stay straight. So working it in there carefully, Next we'll put the trim on. Now you can see why I put the marks there, so you can find the holes. And looks like we got a little trimming here to do. I've got it pushed firmly back into the corner, so we'll trim that back a little bit and keep going. All right, there's the last piece. So we got the side panels in. Next are those little clips that go across the top, and there's little indents in the in there. Those little cutout areas, and that's where they go. So this will slide into the rear window rubber and then get captured by those clips. And I just realized I don't have a rear dome light. Dang it. All right, there we go. Headliner in. Looks pretty sharp. I like it. Let's go drive another time. Okay, all right, this video is a little boring. Next time there'll be engines revving, tires burning out, and not so much making it last.